I think that's what that is, isn't
I think so.
it? Yeah, it is. Yes.
Some nice faces this morning. Some smiles, some pictures of hearts. All right, so we wake up in the morning and we follow and understand and we try to grasp. And everybody goes through this. We try to grasp and have total control of things that are going on around us, right? We try to control what we eat and we try to control
What we
where we go
do,
and
how hard we work, we start pushing things, we start doing things. I'm sure we've all felt it where we have that need where we feel like we have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing so hard to get things done, or that we're like, oh, I have all this work to do, or whatever it is, and we're constantly pushing for that control in order to get it done. But really, that's just the ego and the illusion of the control that our ego gives us, and really just pushes us to get things done for the ego's purpose. Is that what you were saying?
yeah. So sort of within that understanding of ourselves and knowing the things that we can control. We can control anything that happens inside of our body. We can control how we move. We control how it comes into our body. But outside of that, we kind of try to make it so that we're moving other people. And it's like we talked about it yesterday
Mm.
in manifesting. Like you can't manifest for other people, right? Choice and free will and all these things. And almost universally, we step from and we grow in confidence. And then we take a level of responsibility for other people. And a lot of times we look outside ourselves and go, I want that type of control. But really, those people are choosing to follow things. If you look at elections and politics and the different voting and the things that people choose, they've chosen to follow those people. And I hear all the time discussions about why this should be one way or why this should be another, at least here. And the discussions are very interesting, except for whether it was fair, whether it was accurate, there's still a whole bunch of people that are following and understanding and choosing that mindset, right? They're making that choice. It lines up with them. And we get a lot of division because we have a lot of information, we have a lot of mindsets. What can we actually control? And what we can control is what we're putting out to the world. We can control how we see and we interact with people around us. We can control how we allow our energy to be present in certain moments.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
So, in doing so, we kind of get wrapped up in that ego part of different things. And we get to a situation and we don't want to get rid of every adaptivity, right? We want to always be able to be adaptive. And what we're talking about when we get into this sort of illusion of things is we lose the ability to adapt. We lose the ability to stay ourselves in a moment and we start giving that moment away.
It's kind of like we start to believe that we can bend the things in our life to our own will rather than allowing things to kind of flow in a way that go with everything and the universe, just kind of going with the flow. And really that pushing to, hey, it's got to be my way, only one way. And really just trying to fit it into a mold of what it really is, it kind of gives that maybe it's a sense of safety, or maybe it gives you a sense of allowing yourself to be outside yourself, or there's so many different ways and reasons for control that can be a challenge, really.
So sometimes we feel controlled, sometimes we try to over
Yes.
control. This is a great belief word.
Mm.
And the interesting thing about this word is we take actions and we see cause and effect, right? We go, this is the action that caused this. But
Hmm.
it's never so simple as just as one action causing another action. You know, if you walk into the middle of the room and you stand up and you give a speech about how important it is to care for yourself, you had an impact in that moment. But that impact isn't just from your speech, right? how well it lands, how well it connects, how well you see those people, it's going to be based off of their experience. So, really, even though it was your words, the people are being moved from their experience and you're connecting to their experience. So really they're the ones that are moving and doing different things. And if you see people who are really, really good at coming into a situation and seeing and connecting and making things happen, they're very intuitive. They know their audiences. They know what people need. They can pick up on what their past is. They can pick up on what their behaviors are. They can pick up on what's gone on and what's transpired, and they can talk to them and connect to them.
The best part about that is that everybody has a different perspective, and this illusion of control is really about stepping outside yourself and feeling like you can control every nature of everything and every aspect of life. When really the only control we have is within ourselves and understanding ourselves and how we move and are moved from the outside sources and leaving ourselves vulnerable to different things that are out there helps us to better understand how this word control and the illusion of what it really is in our life.
So you guide them, you take that role. There's a lot of pressure that comes with it, right?
Mhm.
There's the pressure of yourself, there's the pressure of connecting, there's the pressure of life. And really, when this word comes up, it often gets associated with stresses. It gets associated with how we're moving
Yes.
through our stresses. It gets associated with
Anxiety, definitely anxiety, because if you're trying to control everything, it's almost like you're anticipating the things that are going to happen in order to try to control the things that are you think that might happen. So that anxiety is almost like living in the future rather than the living in now.
man, we oftentimes kind of move through life and we manifest and we ask to be in situations or places where nothing can go wrong outside of what we know how to deal with. And that's kind of what our supercomputer cells are manifesting for, is that we have the answer to every solution all the time, right? But we do have an answer. The answer is inside of ourselves.
And that connection with creator, because as long as we're listening, and trusting our connection with creator allows us to have that better understanding and flow of what and where we need to be without that illusion of control. It's almost like that stepping into that unknown so that we can allow ourselves just to really flow.
And so what you end up is you having this relationship with yourself and the world around you, and you swing like a pendulum. You swing from feeling so important that the world is not as important,
The hand.
and then it swings the other direction, and you feel like the world doesn't see you as important, and you're not important, and you're swinging back and forth instead of finding a healthy medium, a place where you know you belong, you know you're important, you know how to see everything fitting together, you know how to see.
Would you guys like that download that you can see and feel and know when you are able to move yourself with yourself and that trust of connection with creator without having to feel like you have to control or the illusion of control? Would you like more downloads?
Oh, those good downloads.
Okay, keep going.
Somewhere around a lot of times, so something around
Mhm.
like 30 times in our lifetime, we have stories of events where pressures come and things come on, and we have third parties come into our lives and they say, there's no way to navigate your way out of this. There's no way to actually have control of your life again, whether it's from pressure, whether it's from trauma,
Or pain.
whether it's from business things that are going on one way or another. We have been in situations where people, third party individuals that have been a part of the process, have said, I have absolutely no idea how you're going to figure this out and get through this and regain control of situations.
But really, is it about controlling the situation or going with the flow of the situation and recognizing where and how and who and putting yourself in a place where you can be flexible and adaptable to the things that are around you?
And we call these things just we say impossible things, and we do lots of impossible things every
Yes.
day. These things are so impossible that the majority of people believe that they wouldn't exist, that they couldn't exist. And what that has to do is their relationship of controlling their own life, controlling and knowing the worlds around them and how they fit and what they can control and what they can't control. And then they come to a conclusion that that's not possible. And today, we're going to do impossible things. Tuesday, we're going to do impossible things.
It's always Tuesday.
Tuesday's a good day for impossible things,
It
but
is.
actually on Tuesday, we're doing impossible things this week. We're doing things that to someone that we introduced a concept to, it did not exist as a possibility for. Which means as you brought it up or as you talked about it to them, you had to get them to see and understand the possibility and believe in the possibility. And the funny thing about people is when you bring something up, even yourself, it takes time to introduce and allow it to be a part of the controls that you have in your life, right? So you say, hey, here's this concept to yourself. Pick a concept. What do you want? More joy? More love? More abundance? You want to make a change in the levels of things that you're comfortable working with and the levels that you control in your own life of energy. And then that's what we do, right? When we choose belief work or we do something, we're like, hey, we're going to make a change in the levels of how we can control the flow of our own information. And then you're going to have to convince yourself why that's okay. That's the first step. You're going to have to convince yourself that that's an okay thing.
And maybe that convincing yourself is a control that helps you feel like you're not going to be missing something or that maybe that you are going to miss some sort of opportunity. But really, are you going to be missing an opportunity if you're so busy trying to control the situation that that things may pass you by or they just you're not paying attention to things? Now, of course, nothing's going to really miss you if it's meant for you, but you may not be able to pay attention to that moment when there was something that you could do for something else or somebody else that could have allowed them to open up more possibilities and possibilities for yourself and opportunities. So opportunities don't really miss you. Whatever's meant for you is meant for you.
In fact, 99% of the time, somebody asks a question about I've been manifesting something or I've been working on something. When we go up and we connect to the place that an energy that we know and we trust and actually we allow to be in the flow of guiding us, we can see not only for ourselves, but for that person, all the different times that it's knocked on the door,
Mm.
all the different ways that something's been knocking on the door, right? So if you have a question, you got a question right now, say about your future, there's a really good chance that whatever it is that you're feeling could happen, that you've been manifesting, it already exists. It has existed the whole time you've been manifesting it.
Usually when we feel like something that is was impossible at one time or that we've been dreaming for a while and it finally is manifesting itself, that's usually when it's just right there ready for you to find it. You just need to find where it's at.
But this illusion that we have total control over everything everyone around us interacts with, it means we get to a place where we feel like we kind of step through life very gently and we make sure not to disturb the levels of egotism that we have within ourselves because it makes us feel really important. Instead of just knowing we're important and knowing the next person next to us is important, we're sort of validating that. And so when we introduce certain manifestations, when we introduce certain ideas, we want to implement them into our life. Our subconscious knows, yes, you can have that. But a lot of these things that we're manifesting, soulmates, financial connection, a deeper understanding with the creator of all that is,
Abundance, more clients, whatever it is that you're manifesting, usually
it requires more connection with other energies. If you grow your business, it requires more connection with other energies, not less. It requires more ability to work and be around other people and communicate yourself in authenticity, whatever that authenticity is, right? So when we go into a room and we say that person knows how to control a room or they know how to move a room around, most of the time what they're doing is a whole bunch of tricks to keep the subconscious that understands and knows how to stay inside of a situation afraid of going against what they would desire to happen, right? So they use tricks like tie colors, they use tricks like body language, they use tricks like even certain words that they know in certain countries move to different vibrations of words because they know our supercomputer can't stand the thought of not being in control. So these words kind of tell the subconscious that we're going to move the situation, and then whatever I'm doing lets you stay in this place. It lets you stay in this abundance. It lets you grow these different things.
But
And
really, if you have feelings and emotions that come up that give you indications that really allow you to understand when you feel like you are out of control or needing to want to be in control. If you have feelings that come up that say, oh, I need to be, and you feel like you have anxiety or things that you feel like you're not important enough, or there might be pain associated or unsafe, or there's so many different reasons for control that it gives you indications as to little cues or little pokes that say, hey, this is an indication you can change this or not. It allows you to recognize when those types of illusions of control are really in the forefront.
so once you start to kind of break through that and you understand that you're a part of all these forces and you're connected to them and you can connect to the seventh plane, you start to go back to when you were younger and you start to have wonder and you start to have amazement and you start to ask questions, lots of questions, questions about how does it fit? Who am I with this? How does this work with me? When we're little and we ask questions, we say, how does that work? We're not asking specifically the science behind how something works. What we're asking is, how does it apply to me?
And how do we fit? Where's my value in this? Where am I accepted and to fit into the moment?
And even if you explain how something exactly works, the person is processing it and understanding those key components and how it fits into their life. We're all born with this desire and this understanding and the tools we need to connect and trust and not over control and not under control and not get lost in an illusion of where the level of control is on our own journey. We're actually born with the ability to do so, but we push it out on a group conscious level pretty quick. We push it out because we don't know an answer.
Because there are posts that say this is what it looks like to be a leader or a somebody that is a that rules all these businesses or successful or is a great mom or is there whatever. And it tells you things that give you an illusion of control.
In fact, right now in our world, we know that we can create different systems, and as long as they work for 1%, I watched this guy literally talk about how you can connect to 1% of the world, you're a billionaire. If you can connect to 1% of the entire world with a concept or an idea or help them or give them something, you are wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. So they're not creating things, and we're not creating things to connect and help everybody. We say we are. But what we're trying to connect and create is these things that help us solve those pressures, right? In our world, we understand that we're going to connect to everybody. Everybody connects to this place, and we get rid of judgment, and they figure out who they are, and they choose how to use a tool, right?
And it just feels so much easier and so much better within your heart. And you just don't, you have peace and joy and it's just relaxed. opposed to anxiety and feeling like you have to rush and move through all these things to get and feel like you're part of something and it's just up here and oh, it's just so stressful.
So around the time I was 20, 23, 24, there was a person that wanted me to teach more theta healing classes, and they wanted to be a partner. And they had a big problem with my energy, and it was the fact that when I teach a class, I don't give the sense of pressure that you must keep learning. You must keep coming back. You must keep doing things. And from an advertising perspective, from a sales perspective, they were trying to tell me, "Hey, you need to create a pressure that moves these people to keep coming." And we had a giant argument. No, you don't. You really, really don't. It's not about forcing somebody into creating and giving you what you need. When you really connect to all it is, it's about trusting the moments and the people and the energies that are aligned with you through the seventh plane, because your energy and the magic of you is to be you authentically.
And that will attract the people that are meant to be with you and keep attracting the people that are meant to be with you.
And if they keep listening and discovering themselves, they're going to find their way. And they don't need to find their way in my time.
No.
They don't need to find their way in Raina's time. They need to find their way in their own time. It's part of the process, right? So when you connect, you open up a door and then you give them a choice. So we have this conversation all the time. We sit at the table and we talk about it. I had this job, came up with pressure, and I went in and it said, "All right, you're going to make a minimum of $3,000 a month." And it was a long time ago, and so $3,000 a month was a really good amount of money, and it still is in some places. And you could make even more than that. And the guy comes in, he talks about all this different money he's going to make. And the relationship I was in at the time was very much about money. So they said, "You're going to do this job." And I said, "Okay, I'll do this job." And we go through the training. And the training was to memorize a script, show up at people's houses, and follow the script and go through the vacuum thing. It was to show them that their vacuum was terrible and this vacuum was wonderful.
Basically, to help them buy the vacuum that he was presenting, because their vacuum must be worse.
It was a beautiful, beautiful script. And I memorized the script, and we stood up in front of each other to practice it. There was a group of us, and when we stood up in front of it to practice and there was a group with us, I did the same thing that we do here. I get a little emotional. I even got more emotional because this is me kind of throttled back a little bit sitting in the chairs. If you stand this up and you're in person, you know you get a little bit more energy, a little bit more interaction. So we're in person, there's this interaction, and the guy who's in charge of the company, his eyes get really big and he claps and he's super excited because in his brain, he's thinking, "Man, this guy's going to go out and sell like a whole bunch of these things and he's going to be phenomenal." But what I'd been told was I have to show up, go through my spiel, and everybody has a choice. If they choose not to, I still get things. That's what he told us. And that's not what it was. I went to the first appointment. I showed up. I got excited. I connected. We had a great time. And they said, "We're not interested in it, but man, you're a fun person to be around." And I said, "I agree." We had a great conversation. I sat there for 4 hours. It was supposed to be an hour long. And I walked out and I called back to the company and I told them, "I'm on my way now to go to a different one." They go, "Great. Did you sell anything?" And I'm like, "No." They said no right away. We sat around and talked, and they're like, "Well, wait a minute, wait a minute. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to call in and we're supposed to talk about what they don't like, and you're supposed to pretend like you're working for them, and we're going to pretend like we're working for them." And then I couldn't do it. I sold one over the course of 2 months before I quit. And that was because this one person really liked me. So they bought it. They happened to have the finances to do it. And they're like, "You're cool. I'll buy it just because I like you." And then they pulled another one of the same one out of their closet. They had just wanted to see the difference between my conversation and the person who sold it to him before. That's the only one who really bought one. I sold one to one person, got down the driveway, came back, gave them their old vacuum cleaner, and said, "Look, you guys can't really afford this." And they said, "Yeah, but we really love it." And I said, "No, you really love food. You really love food, guys. Trust me, your vacuum is fine. You're gonna be okay. This one is not more important than eating." Because there was this pressure, there's this thing that comes up inside of life, and moving people with that pressure is something that you can read a TikTok, Instagram. There's a zillion of them out there, and they pop up all the time because we talk about changing the world and we talk about things you can do to be in yourself and be authentic and create in a moment. But when we talk about it in theta healing, connecting to the creator of all that is, and when we talk about it in algorithm of you, understanding yourself, we want the understanding of you to grow.
Yes, it's not to benefit ourselves, it's to benefit you as people. We want you to see within you all of the greatness that you already possess. Already.
When we connect and we understand and we see things, we know that changing the world means opening up people to trust themselves, right? It's one thought process, one moment, one ability for a person to unlock authenticity. It takes one person to change the world. And then it takes one person to inspire that person to change the world. And then it takes one person that inspired that person that's going to inspire that person to be themselves to change the world. The process isn't about how much of these different things that we can get because once we move from one stress, we replace it with another. The stresses never end. They're just changed. Okay, if you're worried about your bills, that's your immediate stress. And you say, I don't want this stress anymore. I manifest more abundance. The minute you have more abundance, you have more stress.
You have more bills, more things to take care of, more things that you can purchase, just so many more things, more people, lives to take care of.
Because as you grow, the dependency of energies on your energy also grows. So if you grow in the size of your energy, the people who use that energy to connect and make life happen, they trust you more, they trust you less. So a lot of people, when we're manifesting and we're creating sort of a weird decision for our subconscious, an imbalanced decision. I want to have a place where I have so much abundance that I don't have to worry about anything. And our subconscious is like, yeah, but not to worry about anything is to have nothing. That's the only way to really not worry about anything. If you have no clothes, you don't have to worry about washing them, right? So your subconscious, you go up, you connect, it creates, and you go, wait a minute, which one do you want the most of? And our subconscious kind of chooses based off of this sort of illusion. Which one gives us more say in our life, more of a voice, more connected and understanding? You know, if you connect and teach a lot of people, you connect to a lot of moments and you start to help people, then you have a lot of opinions about the direction of things that should be going. That's more pressure to navigate than just what am I supposed to do with myself today? We keep telling and driven by this idea or this thought that we're going to have that everything's going to be solved and everything's going to be taken care of, whether it's in this lifetime or the next lifetime, or perhaps it was in a previous lifetime. Sometimes we look back and go, wow, that was really easy.
But was it really easy?
Once we get away from sort of defining it that way and we start to take a look at ourselves and we start to figure out what is the authenticity of us? we start to sort of understand and connect. We know how to set our own boundaries. We know where we are. We know where we belong. Then we start to really grow in a place where we do take control of the things that we can, which is what we're creating, how we feel. When a moment comes into our life, we get to choose. We get to choose, does it make us sad? Does it make us happy? Your cells are making that choice. I know it doesn't feel like it, but they are. And when they're making that choice, we should appreciate it, right? There's nothing wrong with sadness. I like sadness.
There's nothing wrong with anger. I like anger. There's a place for it,
What we can
always.
control is what we're going to do with it, right? What we're going to be with it. If you want to be sad, we can find the joy in the sadness. If you want to be angry, you can find the signal of the anger. Why is this anger here? What is it providing me in a good way?
And
And
what is it telling me about my body, or what is it telling me about the things that are going on with myself? Perhaps it's telling me that I'm not being in alignment with the things that my soul truly wants me to be in line with.
we
That's your
stop
indicator.
we stop just battling with ourselves to try to gain control over our own selves and realize there's a different way. There's a an understanding that we can have. There's a connecting force that we can grow. And belief work is really about understanding ourselves. The more you understand yourself, the more accepting you are of yourself, the more you can connect to unconditional love and see what's going on around you.
And the less control you feel like you need to have outside yourself to make you feel good about the things that you're doing in life.
So somebody comes in, sits down for an appointment, and they say, "All right, I want you to help me fix this." And I stopped listening to their words the minute they said me. I know what they want. They made an appointment. They've already told 18 people usually you can scan their cells, and I go up and connect to the seventh plane and get myself out of the situation.
That's how all appointments should be, where we can allow us just to be the guides for the person sitting in front of us. That's it.
All my stories, all the things that are knowledge inside of my cells, that's part of the tools that are at the disposal for the interaction. But unconditional love is the healer.
Absolutely.
Unconditional love lets it be seen everything that's going on with somebody's life. You know, they come in and they sit down and they say, "What's going on?" Chances are pretty good that's not even really what they're there to work on. That's what brought them there. That's what brought them through the front door. Other than people who are towards the end of this physical plane of existence and looking for a way after being told there is no other way. Most of the time, when people make an appointment, they make an appointment and start with the smaller thing. They start with the thing that is easier for them to say. I want to have more this, or I'm struggling with this. And you connect to the seventh plane and you say, okay, that's easy. What else can we do for you? You fix it. But it's not you, it's unconditional love energy, and you're witnessing it. You're there for the interaction, you're there to create and connect and be in that moment. When we see that, we understand that the more interaction, the more opportunity, the more we're felt, the more we connect, the more we grow. We learn how to communicate ourselves in every moment. The more we learn, because it's more opportunities for us to interact, feel somebody else's cells, feel the differences, and then say, why? Why do they see things like this? And why do I see things like this? And what pressures caused it? Not who's right. What pressures caused it? And is it a pressure that I want to step into and learn more of myself, or is it not? This is why we now are at a time and place in our existence where you can have a job just walking around influencing people because we're waking up. We're understanding the power of each other. We're understanding the power of connection more and more every day. And some people are using that power in ways that will have its own cause and effect.
Especially if it's with control.
But for all of us, inside of our lives, we can take a look at that word, we can take a look at that vibration, and we can ask, what are we doing with this energy?
How are we letting it influence our lives?
And then all the time you're going to say things like, I understand I'm not in control, and then you're going to receive information from another person and then wonder, how do I regain control? Control is like that within ourselves. You should have control of yourself. You should be able to communicate yourself with the world around you, but
But
you shouldn't be controlling the world.
yes, but not controlling. I was going to say the same thing.
Yay.
Yay.
Good job. Yay, us.
Oh, we're both doing a good job.
All right, so we're gonna give you a couple downloads before we head on. Can we download that you know what it feels like to be yourself authentically, to communicate with the world around you, to see their communications without feeling lost or controlled?
That you know who you are, that you can walk in your path, your divine timing, knowing that you don't have to feel unsafe or guarded, or that you can just trust your inner voice, inner understanding without having to control everything outside of yourself, but just be your beautiful, authentic self. And of course, if you like those downloads, say yes, put your thumb up, nod your head, whatever it is. Beautiful. Thanks for joining us today, everyone.
ございました。And thank you so much, Josh and Reina. And I'm sure we want to share about your algorithm of business.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
はい。So we have March 15 and 16. Um, so
Yes, we have,
Taiwan, China time at 9 a.m. Yes, we start. So
yes,
everyone, please come. It's module 1 and 2.
Yeah. If you want to learn how to go
Yes.
teach businesses how to use the algorithm view stuff and learn some more about some of the cool tools that we're creating to kind of help people understand those chemical reactions of emotions and how they're moving in signals of our subconscious and how we solve things in our life and in business.
and how you work with people in teams and how you're able to go forward and what you're projecting out onto the world as an individual and with your it's for your business. This is for you.
In fact, I've been doing a lot of conversating and having discussions we have about algorithm review, and a lot of people think that it's very separate from theta healing, and it's really
It's not.
not.
No.
We we have the pre-theta healing class, Discover Your Algorithm. We work with mom all the time next door. She's sitting down and taking not only Discover Your Algorithm, but some of the business information that we've put together. Because what we're doing is showing people why it's important to know themselves, right? Why it's important to know the pressures of their life.
Mhm.
Why it's important to know how you solve problems so that they know we already are intuitive
Yes, we're
and
already
all of
doing
their
it.
intuitive skills are all built out. So we're kind of connecting and bringing them to show them that we do theta healing all the time. You know, we always live and grow in theta healing. Every person does. The reason they're like, wow, this seems familiar
And
is
so easy.
is because your cells are connecting and creating. So the whole thing was started and it became its own thing because of legal reasons. Because in order to maintain one concept or idea, you have to have its protections. And even though it supports that concept or idea, for it to be maintained, it had to have its own legal protections. And that's the reason why it's kind of become its own thing. And that's the reason why we have to promote it the way that we're promoting it, is because legally, in order for both ideas to be valid and protected for people to learn and be taught in the United
In a
States,
trademark.
they have to have this kind of separation on paper and in the business a little bit. But as far as families go, as
We
far
are
as
not
energy
separate.
goes,
No.
as far as our connection to everything, we're over there every day talking to mom and making plans of growing the world and her thing, and you'll hear it on her Instagram is um, she thinks that this might be the way that we connect theta healing and the way we connect all kinds of things and we start to show the world how we're supposed to actually work together. So to us, mom and us, our approach is let's show everybody how things should work together instead of battling against each other. We can follow the rules that they've put in place. There doesn't have to be separation, even though they make us have it on a legal side. For protections and whatever they've put in a book, we can transcend that. So that's sort of been maybe why you've seen things that look a little different, and there's a different company that maybe sends a contract from time to time.
But really, we're just
You get
together.
you just get two certifications
Yeah.
and discover your algorithm, and then you have another certification to put in your tool belt if you want to go into businesses. That opens up the door to show them how to also use theta healing. So all of this is put together with the purpose of still growing and showing the world unconditional love.
Right. And we'll be teaching that this weekend. The 15th and 16th, I believe, is the dates.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, 1 week.
15th and 16th. Yep. Yay. So if you'd like to join us, of course, you can find it on Instagram. There's plenty of links everywhere. And of course, you can always ask your wonderful people that are on here that are translating. Thank you, translators, for
Thank you
finding
very
all the
much.
words.
And we'll be online.
Yes, of course.
We'll see you guys that are in class today in an
Yes.
hour.
We'll see you then. Much love. Thanks, everybody. Have a fabulous day.